Hey, Peter, do you swing?
Every time I go to the playground, my friend. Swing set for life.
I'm Adam Maness.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Daily jazz advice coming at you.
Today's episode of the You'll Hear It podcast is sponsored by the Oxford American. The Oxford American is a magazine dedicated to documenting the complexity and vitality of the American South.
Yes. Our charter sponsor.
Our charter sponsor. We love the Oxford American. It's a quarterly magazine dedicated to Southern American culture. It's absolutely brilliant. The Southern Music issue has this awesome article about John Coltrane's roots in North Carolina. It goes to some churches to hear the music that he heard when he was growing up and how that influenced his music, and compares it actually to the famous quartet. Amazing writing, always.
Yes,
always in the Oxford.
I mean,
American.
it's first and foremost a literary magazine.
Yeah,
but it is the beautiful bridge with music and with the South and with culture in a way that's very exciting. I think will be very appealing to our You'll Hear It listeners.
That's why we were so excited to have them as our charter sponsor, because there's so much that intersects, I think, with what our listeners like. So check out the Oxford American. You can go to oxfordamerican.org/YHI, and we have some special deals there.
Sounds good.
What are we talking about today?
Today we are going straight tactical. We're going straight,
we're hacking.
We're hacking. 7 hacks to swing harder. This is not, as we've said before, 7 hacks that swing harder.
Yeah.
We could have done that list, but this is 7 hacks to swing harder.
I don't see grit your teeth and arch your back on here at all.
Or eat barbecue or anything. Yeah. So, this is really just...
Although that does help.
That does help.
Yeah.
Although, that's more for like a slow blue. It's like a slow swinging after you eat the barbecue.
If you get it with that St. Louis style molasses sweet sauce on there.
And it's really the sauce. It's not, I'm hashtag plant-based, vegan/vegetarian lifestyle. But I haven't partaken in any of there's like a lot of tofu barbecue and things like that. But I think that'll pull you into the itis just like a nice rib barbecue would, or a chick-un barbecue.
I
you know about chick-un?
I respect your choices, so I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
Because I want to stay friends.
There we go.
But that's not really what we're talking about today. We're talking
all.
about practical things you can do. And as always, when we talk about practical things you can do, number one is usually...
listen.
Specifically listen to swinging stuff.
Exactly. So we're going, like, these are sort of hacks. And we always feel funny saying, these are sort of hacks.
I don't feel funny.
These are ways, shortcuts is what we're trying to say, which is actually kind of hard to do with this music. But maybe these will kind of help you go around a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I feel a little funny when I eat tempeh barbecue. I don't feel funny using hack in this term, because that's
a hack to living longer, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so listen to swinging stuff. Now, this is like, you can listen. We're always encouraging to listen to high quality music that you love, of course. But if you listen to some really hard swinging stuff exclusively, that's going to be a little bit of a hack to get, like, if you want to really work on your swing and swinging harder specifically. It's like anything. We're focusing in on that specific muscle group, just like you go to the gym and you want big arms, don't do the leg exercise.
Right. I mean, it's like anything else. If you want to get the feel from like fusion music, listen to really hard hitting fusion music.
Right.
If you want to get the feel for swing, listen to what you think is the most swinging stuff you can find and seek it out.
Yeah, and it's so easy. There's so much. We don't have to go through. I mean, obviously there's certain people like anything Oscar Peterson, Ahmad Jamal.
Whatever swinging means to you, find it and really do some deep listening to it. Yeah,
and focusing on that particular part of the music. Swing is just one element, and we think about it as rhythmically, but I mean, obviously it's all part of a blues feel, telling your story, melody, I mean, all these different things. But the specific kind of swinging groove is what it really is that we're talking about. It's something that you can focus in on as you're listening to.
But listen to all those elements you just mentioned. Like, it's not just the duration of the eighth note; it's the syncopation, how that player uses syncopation. How they phrase, and even to solo architecture, right? Because some of the most swinging moments have been set up for you for like a minute and a half. I'm thinking of like that 10-10 Deo that you always refer to. It's so swinging, because that moment because it was set up you were set up as a listener to think it's even more swinging because of the way they
Plus,
they
they're in a
phrased
different groove. They're in like a non-swing, straight swing groove, kind of that 12/8 feel.
Right.
So when it goes to, it's like, it just feels like, but they go right to it. So that would be a good example of learning how to like start. Don't eat. You know, a lot of people ease their way into the swing. They learn how to swing, but if you really want to swing hard, like you've got to know how to swing from the very first note.
Totally.
You know, I mean, think about a great bass player, and on that, you know, Ray Brown just he's not like and then he gets to some swing. No, it's like bam, right there, because that's the kind of groove it is.
Exactly, and you can listen to even things like range. You know, I always think there are swinging moments when someone's playing, you know, from varying up the range, right? Someone's playing real low, and then they do some kind of swinging lick up high. That's even more effective because they use these different elements.
Yeah. Good. So number 2 of our 7 hacks to swing harder is play with swinging people. Play with great musicians that know how to swing hard. What do they say? You're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with most, you know, kind of intellectually. Yeah. Same thing with musically. You're going to be able to swing on average, you know, based upon, now this goes over a long period of time and you have to listen and pay attention and practice, of course, but you're going to become the average of the people that you're playing with. So if you're playing with people that can't swing, doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to swing, but it's definitely not a way to be able to swing harder.
Man, there might not be anything more important for making real progress with this than being thrown in the fire with someone who's more swinging than you.
Yeah.
And you realize like, oh, there are things I need to learn from this person. I mean, it can really open your eyes.
And I mean, you know what? You should take gigs with those people, even if you have to make less money, even if you have to pay them part of your money, because think about it. They're swinging hard. You're swinging maybe medium. So you're going to get better. They're going to have to battle to not get worse because they're going to become the average of you.
Yep.
Now, hopefully their thing is stable or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean, you should, like, being able to swing hard is worth more than money. So you should pay people if you have to. If you don't have gigs with hard swinging people, pay them to come over to your house and just play with them for a couple of hours. It's just like, you know, hiring anybody that's great at what they do to teach you that's really what it is. That's how you learn to do it, is playing it live. Yeah, you can listen to recordings. We're gonna give you some other ways to do it, but this one's probably should be number 1, even over listen, because you're listening and you're playing and you're learning. And it's like, if you want to learn about philosophy, you can read Aristotle and all the great philosophers, but what if you can sit down with a great philosopher and philosophize with him or her? That would be pretty good, right?
I mean, that's what I do every day here across the table from you,
Exactly. Unfortunately, we're the average of each other philosophically.
Number 3.
And Andrew, too. Yeah.
Well, and Dan. And,
everybody.
Yeah. So number 3, I think, is super important. We talked a little bit about this on our Tension in the Body episode last week. Relax.
Yeah, I feel like I'm swinging. I just relaxed.
No, you have to be relaxed, I think, to swing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's natural inclination is to tighten up and grit their teeth.
I'm going to swing hard.
You make that stank face. And you're
swing is not usually an actual tense.
Before you know it,
it's funny how we always do drums. We don't do anything piano. We're like, swing.
You got that tipping, you know, you're skating. But tension does not equal swinging at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
I think that if you're doing these other things that we're talking about and you combine any of them with relax, even as you're listening, certainly as you're playing with people, certainly as you're practicing anything like that, then it's going to be sort of quicker progress with that, because tension is the opposite of relax, I believe. Yeah. And that's always going to make progress with swing more difficult.
You know what a good exercise you should try with this too is try playing some, like if you're a pianist, try playing some super swinging, simple lines, maybe up high on the piano.
Speed, beat, do, beskeet, dee, bop.
Really try to play as swinging as you can and try to stay as relaxed as you can, because your natural inclination is I'm going to swing and I'm going to make that face and whatever.
Right.
Don't do any of that. Practice this in your practice routine, like trying to swing like Count Basie.
Right.
You know, but being relaxed like you're playing, you know, Clair de Lune.
That could be a little bonus one. Practice swinging with very simple lines. I mean, not like everyone's thinking like just endless eighth notes on the piano, but it could just be bop, boo, bop.
Well, see, I think this is, look at
dap.
the face you're already making. This is why people...
Relaxed, stank face.
This is why I think when people do those little simple lines, they tense up and they try to make those simple lines swing harder. Relax and try to make them swing as hard.
I think a big part of relax, too, is relax your mind, too. You know, this is not that difficult. It should not be that difficult. And it actually isn't that difficult. Once you've listened and identified, it's just a language. Once you know if you know what that feel is that we keep joking about, but that swing feel, it is not that hard to play. We've talked about this before. If you're tense or think in your mind, I can't do it, or I have to I have to live a suffering lifestyle first, of course it's going to be hard. But I mean, just intellectually, philosophically, relax.
Don't force the swing.
This is not brain surgery.
Play what you hear, just like we talked about, with Chick's list last week. Like, wait for the ideas to come. Don't play if you're not hearing anything. Exactly. Let it swing, man. Let it breathe.
Yeah, just place it right in there.
Another good practice technique, and our number 4 here on our 7 hacks to swing harder, is to practice with a metronome.
Oh, yeah. I like this. And a lot of people think this is sort of anti-swing because they're like, metronome is robotic and robots can't swing. Mm-hmm. First of all, do we know that robots can't swing? Has anyone programmed a robot to swing?
Sure, MIT's working on it.
I bet Jazz and Lincoln Center and MIT are doing like a joint project on that.
Oh, man. When robots learn to swing, we're all out of a job.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, practicing with a metronome, I love that one. Now, the one that you probably heard is with the metronome on 2 and 4. I definitely like that. But
it's all right.
It's yeah, but it's not the only way. You can do all 4. One that I like doing, or used to like doing when I was a little bit more disciplined with my metronome practice.
You sleeping on the metronome?
I'm not sleeping on it. I probably should sleep on it with it on, but is having it on just 4.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah. So it's just like 1, 2, 3, click. Because you can work on your time. I mean, a metronome is never going to make you swing, but it can help you to swing in time, which is important because that is a part of swing. Unlike other grooves that can be more kind of forgiving in terms of give and take with the tempo, swing's not really one of those at any tempo.
I had a conversation with a kid at Berkeley, and all the Berkeley kids do like weird things like on beat 4, but every 4 bars. Ooh. And they try or every 2 bars and every 4 bars on faster tempos, and they really try to line it up.
Stupid.
No, I mean, good for the kids.
Yeah, I guess. Can they swing, though?
Number 5 kind of goes with this, and that's to practice with a speaker, to practice with recordings. You can practice with a metronome, but a speaker in a physical space. Yeah. We've talked about this all the time on this podcast. Get out of the earbuds, get out of the headphones if you can. Some people can't, but if you can and you can get the sound in the space, it's going to free you up. It's going to recreate actual playing environment.
Yeah. I think that's the closest you can get without having actual musicians or being on a gig, more so than headphones for sure.
Totally.
And that's a cool little hack that is really kind of opened up. I was lucky because I sort of did that. I guess I did have headphones. I don't know. I was always sort of, I was learning stuff on the turntable too, and cassette or whatever. But I mean, it's a great thing to just sort of immerse yourself, and it can help you relax and help you kind of fall into that swing a little easier than when you're practicing alone and you're a little bit naked there and you can only hear yourself and you're like, look, we never like the way we sound. We always like the way a great recording sounds. So it's a way to kind of be part of that and immerse yourself in that and be able to hear and stuff. That when, it's just like when you record in the studio and you're like, wow, I sounded good, and you like the way you sound with the whole group, and then they solo just your piano mics, and then you're like, ugh. But it doesn't, you're not playing in a vacuum.
It's true.
So it's all about what it sounds like. And this is the closest way at home you're going to be able to do that.
Number 6 is to learn to walk bass lines / learn to play the bass.
That's good. Yeah. That is very good. And I'd actually say that like a lot of my understanding of swing, especially really at any tempos, but especially at like kind of the 4, came from like when I started to really understand the spacing and the way that a bass line is constructed and accented, and felt with that 1, 2, 3, 4, but also the 2, 4, and like the balance between that every beat in a way the piano we don't actually play. So when if you can actually learn it on bass a little bit even better, but just walking on the piano, or if you play saxophone or trumpet, any instrument,
anything,
or vocals, everybody can walk a bass line.
And don't just walk a bass line,
drums on the feather and the bass drum.
Totally.
That's just a bass line.
Don't sleep on the two feel as well. Crucial part of swinging. No,
I'm saying don't sleep on it. Sorry,
you were like,
I was giving you I'm like, don't sleep on it.
As friend of the podcast, Ruben Rogers said, that's sort of the springboard for the 4 feel. That's crucial element of a swing feel is the 2 feel.
Yeah.
So that's the half note feel.
Exactly.
And get those long, luscious half notes going.
Absolutely.
You can do that on
because
piano.
Then you're having to have the imagination of the 4. It's still there, but it's not explicit, And if you can learn to do that on your instrument, you're going to be able to then go to, because you're improvising over that, whether you're playing with a bass player or not. Yeah. You're improvising over. That's the foundation of what this groove is, in fact.
Number 7.
Learn to play the drums. Now, this one, I think you really could get some benefit. And look, this could be as simple as just a stick, learning how to hold it somewhat correctly, and playing on a cymbal.
Walk the dog.
Walk the dog. Wait, am I doing right? The dog. Walk the dog. Dang, 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 dang.
You're going to be so exposed with your time, with your feel, with your eighth note, with your quarter note. All of those things, just from playing a ride cymbal, are going to expose how you're feeling the pulse. Play along with records on the drums. like you said, even if you could just do one limb, start there.
Yeah.
If you want to do that and the hi-hat, start there. If you want to practice feathering your bass drum, build that up.
Yeah.
It can do nothing but help whatever.
Check
other
your
instrument.
local laws and regulations on feathering the bass drum. That's not legal in all 50 states. Just so you know.
It is not.
Okay.
But our friends all feather the bass drum.
That's true.
In general,
they live in permissive areas. So good. Well, this was fun, man.
Let's do a little recap here. You mind?
Yeah. No. Let's do it.
So number one.
Listen. We both love doing that one because we remember that one.
We just talked over each other for listen.
Listen to swinging stuff.
Number 2.
Play with swinging people.
Number 3.
Relax.
Number 4.
Practice with metronome creatively.
Number 5.
Practice with recordings with speaker.
Number 6.
Walk bass lines. Maybe even learn to play the bass a little bit.
And number 7.
Learn to play the drums, or at least the ride cymbal.
Oh, man.
Basic ride pattern.
I love talking about swing, man. This is great.
Yep.
So the Oxford American, for a limited time, You'll Hear It listeners can subscribe to the Oxford American for only $25. Visit oxfordamerican.org/YHI to subscribe today. Get that deal.
$25 for the whole year.
Yeah.
And it's quarterly.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. This is not like this crap that you get at the grocery store. That's
Even
coming
the
out
paper
every week.
feels good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I'm rubbing it on me. It feels good. No paper burn. No paper
Love it.
burn.
Thank you, Oxford American. And hey, thanks, Andrew, our producer.
Big shout out to Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew K.
If you have a tune, a recording that you'd like to hear at the end of the You'll Hear It podcast, just send it to Andrew at openstudionetwork.com.
And then
for
he'll
that.
hear it.
Yeah. And then tomorrow,
What's up?
you'll hear it.